So, as I think I may have said to some of you guys, this is my first presentation today. So I'm not used to doing these at all. I do not like doing these, and I feel very uncomfortable doing presentations. I'm told that I don't look as uncomfortable as I feel, so that's kind of reassuring. And I know that
you've got to remember, we've all been there, mate.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I think somebody was saying this morning, there's a kind of a line between being nervous and being excited. It's a very, very fine line. I think we've all kind of felt, and we've all been in that position where it's very exciting, but it's bloody nerve-wracking too. That's kind of where I am this morning. However, Richard did say this morning, I'll try not to ask you any awkward questions. And actually, I kind of like awkward questions, because that is my opportunity to show what I know, and I do know what I talk about with mortgages. So any awkward questions, please fire them at me. I'd love to answer anyway the way through. So first of all, the other thing that was mentioned on some of the comments and things was about my puppy, because I mentioned it last time that I was getting a puppy, and everyone was like, "Are you going to bring it in?" And I would have loved to bring my little puppy in, but I don't think I could have snuck her in today. Maybe I will do at one point, but I thought I'd show you guys how she's getting on at the moment. This is Lexi, 14 weeks old, and she has way more followers than I do on Instagram already. I don't know what it is. I think she's kind of a bit more exciting than mortgages, but there you go. That's my puppy.
That's how you're expanding your social network. Use the dog.
Absolutely, yeah. Way more popular than I am.
It's a Chihuahua, is it?
It's a cross Dax and Chihuahua, so 14 weeks old, very bouncy, lovely, still making a mess everywhere, so I'm chewing at everything. So, yeah. I understand you need to finish off in a minute, right? So
yeah,
just
right, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I won't take any offence.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, so decided to do my talk today about why you'd use a broker and answering some questions about mortgages as well. So I'll start off by saying I think you can all do my job. Every single person in here, I think can do my job, absolutely. And to a certain extent, I think we could probably all do each other's jobs. However, unless you've got the experience and the network and the time and the tools and to concentrate and grind on your own craft day in, day out, then you're not going to be able to do it as good as someone that's done it day in, day out, and that has been their passion, and someone who's loved it for so long. But I think with 8 hours a day, 10 years experience, any of you could be a mortgage broker. I don't think any of you would want to, but I think you could do. So the example I'd like to use is if you found out you had £100 million worth of gold in your garden tomorrow, what would you do? I think, again, any of you with 10 years could probably find out the best way to extract it. I think you could find out the best drills and have the best teams, have the best extraction methods, and the best way of refining that down and turning that into profit and turning that into making your empire. And I think every single person could do that with 10 years and working out each individual bit. But why would you want to? What you could do is you could find the best person to do that who already does it. And you could scour the world, look up the best experts, find the ones with the best reviews, find the ones that have done it forever and have an experienced track record of doing it day in, day out. And then you could get them to do it. And they would do all the work for you, and they'd have the experience for you, and they'd have the ear to the ground about how gold prices were moving, and they'd be able to know that already, without you having to do anything. So why would you want to do it yourself, when someone else has got 10 years experience doing it day in, day out? So I think that is, for me, and I think, again, for a lot of people, the reason why you'd use a broker. I have no doubt everyone in here has used a comparison site before. I have no doubt you could go around to every single bank. You could go around and look at all their criteria. You could say, well, this bank will do this bank will do that, and work out the criteria that was best for yourself, or for your friend, or for your family, and they would be able to work it out. But it would take years and years, and you have to know all the changes that were happening, as well as concentrate on your own job. And the other thing about small businesses is I think, whilst I'm pretty good at mortgages, I've done them a long time, I'm no good at doing the other stuff around it. I'm not particularly good at doing presentations or marketing or the photographs for my site or anything else. That's not what I do. I concentrate on what I do. And by doing what I do very well, it means my customers can get on and do what they do very well and not have to worry about the mortgage side. So that's why I use a broker. There are other options, as I mentioned. You could go to your bank, and your bank would tell you what they have to offer. They wouldn't be able to advise you on anything else out there. So you could go around all the banks, and if they all did their different checks, then you'd end up with a very bad credit score quite quickly. And again, they wouldn't be able to compare to each other, and you wouldn't be able to find some of the ones off the high street. So there's a lot of small building societies as well that I can advise on. It's not just your big Halifaxes and NatWest and Nationwide. A lot of the small building societies as well offer stuff that you just cannot get on the high street. Other options, I've already mentioned comparison sites. Comparison sites will not tell you the lending criteria. They will not tell you all the small print quite easily, and they will not have someone that can explain that to you. Or friends. Some people say, well, my friend's got a mortgage through this, and that might have been perfect for their friend. It might not be right for you. And just looking at the rate and just looking at the figures each month isn't always just what you need. So that's why I think using a broker in a lot of cases is a great idea, and it can save you money and time throughout. And I guess that is, again, very similar for all of us. I think anyone here can do the research to do most of the other people's jobs if you are willing to do the commitment and the daily grind and getting up early and going to bed late and doing the reading and keeping an eye on the articles and keeping an eye on how the business was changing and how the whole market was changing for you. So that's why I think picking an expert is good. It's a good thing for you. Okay, so that's the first part. Do you need to dash?
Yes, I need
Yes.
to go. I'll see.
Nice to see you, Rita.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you, Rita.
Bye.
See you again, I hope.
Have a
Take
good
care.
day. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
So have I got any awkward questions so far or anything in there? That's us.
The range of products you have access to, are you tied in any way like an IFA or?
I'm an independent mortgage broker. I have full range of market, so I can advise on anything else.
Ask a question. If I went to you and I wanted you to look at my current situation, do you charge for that?
I don't charge any advice fees whatsoever, so you can come to me for a chat and I can go through absolutely anything. I do charge a small fee if you go ahead to cover our admin and everything else, but to have a chat with me and to go through what you've got and to look at your options, no cost or obligation whatsoever.
How long have you been doing it for, Dan?
I've been I've been with J Finance. I'm an independent mortgage broker, but I'm with a company based in Newbury.
Yeah.
I've been with them a year. I've also spent 3 years working for Barclays, 4 years working for HSBC. I specialised in new homes as well, so all the new builds of the new homes going around Basingstoke. I know all the help to buy schemes and the shared ownership schemes and everything else. So there's a real wide range, but yeah, I've done it for a decade. Overall, I do between 100 and 150 mortgages a year, so about 10 a month, give or take. So over the 10 years, somewhere about 1,200, 1,500 mortgages in total. So I know what I'm doing by now. I guess the average of those is about 150 to 200,000 pounds. So doing the math, I think that's a good few million there that's been lent out in total. Yeah.
Lovely.
It would be nice if I had a few million. Just to get
Well, it's coming your way, I'm sure.
Okay, so that's kind of the first part. Any other questions? The second part I'd like to talk about is kind of negotiating. So the conversation I had with my client this week, he was a first-time buyer. He's never had his own property, and he just got his first agreement in principle. So he's ready to go out onto the market and see what he could buy and see how much he could offer for that. Tend to find with most first-time buyers, as with most negotiating actually, the first time you do your first deals, you kind of throw your money at what you can get and see if they say yes. There's no back and forth, there's no, well, what if I can get it cheaper? And generally a lot of the times, especially in the housing market, you can. And this can save you thousands and thousands of pounds in the housing market, let alone your own business as well when you're negotiating prices with different people. So what I recommend, certainly with looking at houses, is to try, and it's very, very hard, but try not get too emotion driven at the beginning. Some people will see the first house that they kind of like, and they will instantly think, I could live here, and this is the route I could walk to the bus stop, and this is the route to the local shops, and I can see this is the sofa I would buy, and this is what I would put in the lounge, and they visualise it before they've even walked in the door. Which is fantastic, but even you lose that property is absolutely heartbreaking. I think we've all done that probably at some point when we looked at rented or bought a place, and at some point it's fallen apart, and it is heartbreaking. And it also means you're very limited in choice, and you will generally put more money in front of that than you would necessarily is needed. Whereas if you shopped around and at least looked at a few first of all, then you can get a much better idea and a much better spread, if you like, of your risk, of which one you'll end up going for. So from that, to get going, always go in with a lower price than what it is marketed for. Any house, as with pretty much anything in life, anything is worth what someone will pay for it. So if the house has been on for a while, if the property has had its market value reduced, they've reduced the price, for instance, of Rightmove, then that is a very good indication that they're looking to sell as quickly as possible. Question to ask is generally, what is the chain on the property? If, for example, it is an elderly person that's moved into a care home, if it is somebody that needs to relocate for work or relocate for their kids' school catchment areas, then they are very motivated sellers and they'll be looking to move as quickly as they can. And again, they may go lower on their price. I would always say go considerably lower, so 10%, 15% even of what the market price is, which generally is, you're talking 10, 15, 20, 30, 50,000 sometimes, which is a lot of money that there is out there that you can negotiate with. And the worst thing they can possibly say is no. Okay. Yeah. And you're in no worse position then, you're absolutely in a strong place then, they know you're interested, but they're not willing to go that low. They will generally give you an idea then also of what they might cost you. The other thing to be aware in this scenario is the estate agents that are selling the property, as lovely as they may seem, as great as they are working on the behalf of the seller. They are paid for selling the property. There's generally a percentage, it may be a fixed fee. They do not get paid when the property doesn't get sold. So they will always be looking to get the highest price. That's their job, absolutely great. And from a seller's point of view, that's ideal. But from a buyer's point of view, you don't want to give them the highest price they can get, you want to give them the lowest price. So bearing that in mind, as great as they are, as lovely as they seem, they are working on behalf of the seller, and that is their job. So they will always try and get you to go to the highest price, and that's kind of where you stand when you go. So starting on at a lower price, and then you can go for a slightly higher one. Again, gauge their expectations, gauge their thoughts, and going on from that, if you think that you're quite close to them saying yes, but not 100%, go in with an odd number. So if the property is on for say 250,000 and you want to buy it for 240, then you want to say to your estate agent, so you want to say to the person selling to you, look, I haven't got 240, and I know that they go for that. What I've got is, if I'm borrowing all from my parents and I'm putting some on credit card, and I've got this much pay back and I've got this savings, I've got 236,452. That's all the money I can get in the world. Will they go for it? And it absolutely sounds like you're stretching yourself then. That sounds like the absolute maximum you can do. If you say 240, then it leaves some room for movement. It sounds like you've got a buffer. If you say an exact number, then you'll generally find that they're taking that as your last offer, and that you're in that's the very highest you can stretch to. So they're going to take it as serious as they can do, and that's when you're going to get a yes or no. I mean, of course, you can always go back and say, actually, parents, let me another £2,000, go a little bit higher, but it puts you in a very, very strong position.
Good tip.
Any questions on that, or any issues you've had with negotiating before?
Is that a service that you do?
Sure.
Negotiating.
So I don't generally negotiate.
Well, you sound like you do it a lot better than I would.
Having done this job for so long, I've got a lot of experience. I've seen it work both ways. So I've seen people that generally have just gone in, just take my money. I want this property. Take this money. I want the garden. I can see my dog running around in the garden playing fetch. That's what they see, and all they see is the result. Whereas if you can save yourself 20 grand by negotiating just 15 minutes, just 2 phone calls. 20 grand's a lot of money to anyone.
Especially on a mortgage, because over the time, that's probably about 200 grand in itself.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. So those couple of phone calls that may not be the most comfortable. I know negotiating isn't comfortable. I think it's a very British thing. We don't like talking about money, and we don't like trying to lower the price of something. We want to say it's worth this amount. We shouldn't have to go back and forth.
Would offering more than 15% off the seller's price, would that be seen to be taking the mickey, really? Or no?
No.
There is really no lower limit. So anything, if it's been on the market 6 months,
Sorry.
if it's been on the market 6 months,
Yeah.
and say that it's from someone that's possibly died, and it's the family's trying to sell it, it's just been left empty 6 months, then they want to sell it.
Yeah.
The wills and probate scene, I'm sure you know, they want everything going on, and it can be going on for years sometimes when someone's passed away. They are very motivated to sell, and again, all they can say is no. So go even lower.
Yeah.
But if it's just gone on the market and they say they've got an open house on Saturday and they've got 30 people viewing, probably going below that, you're probably not going to get it.
Yeah.
But again, at least the estate agents will know you're very serious. They know you're in a position to go ahead, and all they can say is no. So then you go, right, you're not in any worse position from not doing anything.
What's your view of where the market's heading at the moment?
The interest rates or the housing
The
market?
housing. Yeah. That's just
So housing market,
Yeah.
there's a lot on the news at the moment about landlords selling up with the big
Right.
portfolios. If they've got hundreds of properties, a lot of them are offloading and trying to reduce the portfolio size. That's to do with the tax changes for buy-to-let landlords, and that's going to be getting stronger and stronger up until 2020 when that's in full implementation. I think that will bring a lot more properties onto the market, especially entry-level properties. So everything from the studio flats up to the one-bedroom houses, two-bedroom houses, two-bedroom flats. All your entry first-time buyers, what you normally buy, I think that will bring more onto the market. I think there will be people buying for short-term lets, for holiday lets, for Airbnb and that sort of thing. Some of those, I think it will bring lots of opportunity for first-time buyers. Certainly in the area, I'm not too sure kind of Guildford direction, but certainly in Basingstoke there's a lot of new houses going up. So that there's lots of new flats. You've got the Lindy site, you've got the Churchill Plaza site, Many Down, there's more going up for sure, Sherwood on Loddon, so there's lots of houses going up pretty much in every direction, which of course will need more infrastructure and things as well. So certainly from a local point of view, a lot of opportunity for small businesses, with lots more customers, lots of people moving to the area, starting their family, starting a business, big infrastructure. I think it's good for everyone here.
Did you want to know about the rates as well? Whether the rates were going to go up?
What do you mean, the house price or
The interest rates.
Was that?
Well,
Sure.
yeah, why not?
So most of the experts agree that interest rates are likely to rise around springtime next year, and then possibly a second time next year as well, either summer or
Is that
autumn.
right?
Yeah, I think that the Bank of England is moving more towards that, and they've had less people agree not to increase it.
Right.
So it hasn't happened yet. It is always open for change, but at the moment it would look to step up around about springtime, probably about autumn as well next year. I would expect them to be 0.25% each, so I would think we're probably looking at about 0.5% more by this time next year.
Do you think that will bring more properties out onto the market for people that, I don't know, just got in at the last moment, I suppose?
Sure. I mean, for a lot of people, 0.5% will by no means put them under financial stress. It will make maybe £60–80 a month difference on their overall bills.
Right.
Depending on other costs and things in the economy as well, it could make more of an impact. But I think that won't generally affect anyone that's moving now. I think it's a great time now to really fix into a deal for at least a couple of years, between 2 and 5 years, depending on your own circumstances. But it won't make a massive difference for first-time buyers next year. Okay. So that's a bit about negotiating. That is a little bit about mortgages as well, and why I'd use someone like myself. If you have any questions at all on mortgage, I'd be delighted to answer them. And please think of me, so when you're in the pub or have your Sunday roast, and let me know.
Very good.